Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the brand new CV FREQS podcast, filmed by me, your host, Eden Gray, also known as Chelsea, from my home studio here in Miami, Florida, currently. So I've done the events out of the pure interest, the CV FREQS events out of the pure interest to learn about this instrument. And my instrument has come a long way because of everything I've learned about it because of the events. So right now I have a patch here that I set up a few days ago. Well, firstly, let me talk about what's going to happen with this podcast. So this is the first episode I've decided to do to try to keep this kind of small facet of the Modular Synth community alive, which is my events, CV FREQS. I like to take the event wherever I go so I can learn more about it. And so others can learn about it too. And I like to see people who know tons about it and talk with them about it. I also like to talk with people who've never seen it before. So the events are open to all, whether you know anything about it or whether you don't. So, it's just an ever-evolving. You can never stop learning about every module. I mean, you can know a lot about them, but it's really fun to just keep learning. And the ideas that you have with your music while working with it are really great. So, right now on this patch, I have an oscillator, the Pittsburgh Waveforms oscillator, running through the Strymon magneto, running through the Borg filter, which I have the CV input on the Borg filter, plugged into an output on the ALM PEMS new workout. It's running at a pretty fast rate. So I had it plugged into my analog rhythm drum machine as well. So I had some drums going, and it's kind of electro. I have the track here. I could play a little bit of it. So the cool thing about that is that it has a lot of the modulated sounds, a lot of the changing of the parameters, like that filter on this one, which is here. So, working with an 8-step sequencer is it's pretty good, but it's hard to keep the composition interesting if you're only going at 8 steps. This one has you can change it to 4 steps. Eight or 6. And so, when you're actually working with a composition, you would say, well, I want to tune it differently, or I want the melody to be a little bit different. The thing about this one is, it's hard to tune. It's really hard to tune the sensitive knobs. But, right now, we've got the resonance and the oscillator going. And then you can tune it differently. So anyways, I've just got the Pittsburgh running through the sequencer. The CV is being triggered by one of the outputs on the Pam's new workout. So here we can hear that. And then I have my other oscillator running through. The Harvest Man running through the DRP state variable filter. Right now it's on the 12 decibels low pass output. Let's focus on one sound at a time. First I'll talk a little bit about this. So if I put it in this select of this filter, it has a select knob here, which I can go through the settings of each filter. So here's the high pass. Here's the band pass. This is the low pass. And the notch. It sounds great. It really withstands a lot of overloading, I guess, because it has a LED indicator here in the middle of the module that says overload, and when it pushes too hard or the frequency is too much for it to handle, the red light comes on, but it doesn't, it only means that your wave folder you're recording will be too high, but it's a really great filter. GRP synthesizer, which I discovered at Superbooth. They're from Italy. Okay, so there's that one with my beautiful Harvestman Polyvox voltage control generator, which is my favorite module. Harvestman is now called Industrial Music Electronics. Then on the bottom, my Polyvox voltage control generator being filtered by the GRP state variable filter. Which is right now on the bandpass setting. I'm quite a big fan of working with these. Creating with them is really fun, but it's really challenging to really find the sound that you want. Or, I mean, you play everything and it sounds great, but then to actually sit down and say, okay, well, this sounds great, let me go make a track out of it and go and finish it. And that's where it becomes a little bit tricky. But just playing it as a long session can be really quite enjoyable too. And so that's what I've been doing for my live performances. I will just play it and it always makes amazing things happen. So yeah, so I'm completely dedicated, so